hospital. 2 other people were grazed. Philadelphia police have not yet announced any arrests and are asking for tips. In Natchez, the flames filled the skies and a building about 5 Sunday morning. Mayor Dan Gibson.
A historic building dating back to the late 1800s, home to Delta Fuel, 50 employees right here in the heart of our downtown.
He says the fire started in the building's basement, but no one was hurt. More news in 1 hour on 103.9 WYAB. I'm Chris Davis.
Where do you stand in the pro-life community? If you're passionate about protecting the sanctity of life from fertilization to natural death, please join us at Pro-Life Mississippi as we make a difference and save lives right here in our own state. Pro-Life Mississippi is a community of individuals dedicated to equipping others to value all human life, including the preborn, those with disabilities, and the elderly. Our mission is simple: to provide unwavering support, education, and advocacy for the preborn, their families, and other vulnerable children and adults. If you're just starting your pro-life journey or you have been an advocate of life for many years, Pro-Life Mississippi needs your voice and talents to save lives in Mississippi. Together, we can make a difference in building a stronger pro-life Mississippi. Learn more about us at prolifems.org. That's prolifems.org. Be part of the community that celebrates each and every human life.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are the individual views and opinions of the people expressing them and do not necessarily reflect those of this radio station, its parent, affiliated, or related entities, agents, or employees.
If it feels like the world's gone a little crazy lately, you're not wrong. They say parents should have a voice. But what happens when no one's listening? Forget the noise, the narratives, and the nonsense. It's time to have real conversations, stand up, speak out, and shine a light on what's really happening inside our schools, our systems, and our government, and what it really means for your family. This is the Lindsay Beckham Show, where we believe in truth over talking points, facts over feelings, and the courage to say what others won't. Because when it comes to our kids, silence is not an option.
Happy Monday. Welcome in to the Lindsay Beckham Show. We're live here in the WYAB studios. I'm alive here in the WYAB studios, and never have I been more glad to be here. And I was out for the couple of days towards the end of last week. Thank you to Blake Bartlum for filling in for me on Friday. For those of you who don't know, I know word travels very fast around here. But y'all know it's going to take more than a little bitty heart attack to take me out. Yes, I suffered a heart attack. I'm not kidding. Last week, I believe on Monday morning is when that actually happened. I finally decided I would take myself to the hospital Wednesday evening, and I was there until Friday afternoon. Came home on 4 new medicines, but I am alive. Very thankful to be alive. You just never know. And this is why I preach so often about life insurance and being prepared, because we are never guaranteed our next breath. And I'm 41 years old. Definitely did not expect to have a heart attack. I feel like I am healthy for the most part. While I'm not in the gym every day, I do have 5 children that I'm constantly chasing. I'm not a smoker. I'm not severely obese. I've never had any heart problems. And so this definitely caught me completely off guard, but I knew something wasn't right. I'm very blessed that it wasn't worse than it was. There was very minimal damage done. They did not have to put in a stent or do anything more extreme other than treat it with medications. And so we're going to be very carefully watching everything that we eat from now on. And hopefully, I guess I'm going to have to start to sweat a little bit, even though that's something I don't like to do, just to try and make sure that my heart is as healthy as possible. I think that the scariest part was thinking about my children. That got me. I want to be as healthy as I can for them because I am all that they have. And so I just urge everybody to take care of yourself, know your body, know when something's not right, know when something feels off, and make sure that you listen to that. Because just like I've been preaching, fentanyl does not discriminate. Obviously, heart problems do not either. There is a lot of hereditary type heart problems. Of course, I have definitely had heart problems run in my family. And so this is something I'm going to be paying very close attention to. And I urge all of you to do the same because, again, you never know. You never know. We're not guaranteed tomorrow. We are not guaranteed our next breath. But I have never been happier to be live in the studio as I am today. I did not get to make it out to the event that I've been promoting for 6 weeks here on the Lindsay Beckham Show, the Fentanyl Walk for Lives that took place Saturday at Liberty Park. I very much hated to miss that. I think I saw that Mississippi had the biggest turnout. Now, this was a national event. These walks were taking place all across the country, and Mississippi had the biggest turnout of any state. So I'm so proud of that. I'm so thankful and proud of these mamas who made this happen, for our mayor, Mary Hawkins Butler, who was willing to go above and beyond and do anything that she could to make sure that this event went off without a hitch. I wish that I could have been there. But after I got home on Friday, I thought it was probably best that I stayed out of the heat and took it easy over the weekend because I definitely wanted to be back here with you all today. So thank you for listening. Thank you for caring. A lot of you have reached out already. Several have asked where I've been. And then, of course, word travels fast. A lot of people had already heard and have checked in, and I can't tell you how much that means to me. I'm very, very blessed to be here. I think we have a caller calling in, and we're going to get to these hot topics going on around the state in Mississippi. Let's see if he's on the phone.
You have reached 1039 WYAD.
I may not have answered.
Unmonitored answering.
I may not have answered in time. Sorry about that. Let me text him and tell him to call back. Sorry about that. But we are going to get to the Nolan Wells situation over in Ocean Springs. Obviously, that has kind of exploded even more so over the weekend. There have been protests and just downright nastiness all over the place. Okay, I think he's back. Hey there. You there?
Hey, I am.
Hey, okay. So we have got on the phone, I know him by Eric, but most people call him Brian. So I guess I'll try to call you Brian while you're on the phone with us today. Now, you live in Ocean Springs.
I do.
And you have your own, I guess, publication. It's the GW Wire.
I do. I publish GC Wire, and we are an investigative news outlet that focuses on Gulf Coast governmental situations, and we've been covering a lot of things over the last couple of years, including the Securix ticket scandal, the IntelliSafe scheme that goes on in Hattiesburg and other cities, as well as GCRF funding schemes that are happening statewide. So we are definitely no stranger to controversial situations.
I didn't think y'all had any corruption over there on the coast now.
That's funny.
It's everywhere. It's everywhere, right? Well, I know that you have been talking a little bit the past couple of days about this Nolan Wells situation. And so you're familiar with Ocean Springs and the islands. And tell us kind of like the atmosphere surrounding that area.
Well, I can tell you, it first came on my radar on the 4th of July, Saturday night. I guess it was just after midnight. I started seeing posts that were being shared by Nolan's mother saying that she was looking for her son, and people were sharing that all over. Of course, nobody thought that it was as extreme as it was, or as dire circumstances it was at the time. It wasn't until the next morning when he still wasn't found. And it's a small town. It's a tight community. So word got around real quick that this boy was legitimately missing, and there was a dire emergency. So people started sharing everywhere. It started going viral, not just in South Mississippi, but all across the state. Sunday morning-ish, then the police, the Jackson County Sheriff's Department confirmed that he was in fact missing, and that's when the Coast Guard came into action, the Cajun Navy, and just about everybody here was calling friends of friends, because everybody seems to know each other here. So yeah, it was a very surreal 24 hours when Nolan first went missing.
Now, Brian, when this first kind of broke, I know a lot of what I was seeing on social media was, how could his friends have left him? You leave with the people you came with. And I kind of was a little taken aback by that. I can understand that when you're really young, but these were college age boys. And I mean, I can remember at that age, there were plenty of times when we would meet up with other friends and somebody would end up riding back with somebody else. If it was a party or a boating situation, that seems to be kind of a common occurrence.
Absolutely. I've been to Horn Island. I can't count how many times. And I've been there on the big holiday weekends, like Memorial Day and 4th of July as well. And oftentimes a boat full of people does go to the island together. And then you say, hey, I'm going to hang back with these guys. I'm going to take I'll catch a ride with these guys. So you get there and there's dozens of boats. You can only get there through a private boat. And there's dozens of boats during this holiday weekend. So it's not uncommon for somebody to say, hey, I'm going to hitch a ride back with somebody else. So that's definitely not something that's unheard of. I think a lot of the posts online were describing it as he was just left at this deserted island, but it wasn't that at all. It was a huge celebration, where people were all going to eventually head back to be kind of in the vicinity of where the fireworks were going to go off that night. So it wasn't like he was stranded or anything like that. So it's definitely a plausible theory that he did say that he was going to be there, and to say that it's not plausible is just kind of naive.
Yeah, and that's kind of the way I felt as well. Of course, now we know the worst of everyone's fears was confirmed when his body was found on the 6th. And from all accounts, or what we're hearing from law enforcement, is that there seems to be no foul play. Of course,
that's what Sheriff Ledbetter has said so far, that so far in his examination and investigation, he's found no signs of foul play. Of course, everybody is waiting for the official results to come out, the autopsy, both the state and the private autopsy. I know that Ben Crump's team said that they were expecting Friday the private autopsy results to be released, but Friday has come and gone, and we haven't heard back from that yet. Here we are Monday, and we still haven't heard back from the private autopsy results. So everybody's kind of waiting for that, and I think it's going to answer a lot of questions.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of when things shifted even more so, was finding out that the family has retained Ben Crump, and then now Al Sharpton is involved, and we're seeing the protest and the backlash in this community, and just further pushing this racial divide. Now, you live in Ocean Springs, so what have you seen firsthand?
So I can tell you this. I've been in Ocean Springs area for 30 plus years. And my daughter, my oldest daughter, K through 12, was a Greyhound. She was a cheerleader for Ocean Springs High School football. It is a melting pot here where groups of friends are all shapes and colors, all creeds. My Jewish daughter hung out with a sea of black and white Christian friends, and it didn't matter. It was a melting pot here, and I believe that that's the way that it still is. So what we're seeing right now is something that I have yet to see. And I'm not saying that racism doesn't exist everywhere. I'm just saying that for the most part, Ocean Springs was not that kind of division. And we are seeing a lot of division. And I do believe what you just said is correct. I believe that division started the moment that Ben Crump and his team, appeared on the scene, because that's what happens when Ben Crump shows up in places. Ben Crump divides, and he uses that as a divide and conquer strategy. But if you look back at what Ben Crump has done over the last few years, some of the most, and Al Sharpton as well, some of the most high-profile things or events that they've gotten themselves involved with. Like Al Sharpton was involved in the Duke University lacrosse team scandal, where several members of the Duke lacrosse team, white boys, were accused of raping a black girl, and they were prosecuted. They were dragged through the mud by Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson at the time. They were leading protests at Duke University against these boys. It turns out the accuser made it all up. She retracted her story. The district attorney, Mike Nafoni was his name. He was disbarred for life, permanently disbarred, can never practice law again because he pushed this narrative. And when it was all said and done, and these boys had their faces plastered across the media, thanks to Al Sharpton and friends, they just disappeared. They walked away. Ben Crump, same thing. Hands up, don't shoot. He started that movement. He pushed that movement in Ferguson, Missouri. The Department of Justice later, and this is when Barack Obama was president of the United States. The DOJ ultimately said that Michael Brown did not have his hands up, did not surrender, did not say don't shoot. In fact, he tackled a police officer and was reaching for his gun when he was shot. And Crump quietly disappeared when that became well known. But yet, millions were made in the meantime. Ben Crump made a post that went viral saying Ma'Khia Bryant was playing in her yard, a teenage girl just playing in her yard, when police just unprovoked came up and shot her. This went viral around the world. There were protests. There were people outraged. People of all colors were outraged. And why shouldn't they be? That is an outrageous thing to say. And if that happened, then of course we're going to be outraged. But the video footage showed that she was about to stab another girl with a huge butcher knife when the police shot her. Ben Crump quietly disappeared after millions of dollars were raised.
Yeah, he's definitely been known to do that.
This is the story of Ben Crump.
It is. Brian, we gotta take a break. Can you hang on and stay with us through the next segment?
Absolutely.
Okay. Y'all stay with us. There's a lot more to talk about here. We've got Brian Rose on the phone from Ocean Springs, independent journalist there, and he is letting us know firsthand what it's like in Ocean Springs right now. So y'all stay with us. 103.9 WYAB, The Lindsay Beckham Show. We will be right back. Lindsay Beckham Show. We will be right back.
Born in America. 103.9 WYAB.
Americans for Prosperity is Mississippi's and the country's leading grassroots organization dedicated to promoting economic freedom and personal liberty. Americans for Prosperity advocates for limited government, free market policies, and empowering individuals. When given freedom and opportunity, Americans are capable of extraordinary things. If you are ready to make a difference in our community and want to get involved, then visit AmericansForProsperity.org. Be a part of positive change at AmericansForProsperity.org. Paid for by Americans for Prosperity.
Hi, Kim Wade here. Hot weather requires us to run the AC nonstop. Pure Air Consultants can inspect your unit today to ensure your AC is operating at peak performance. Pure Air Consultants is your go-to Rheem partner that can get the job done and have you resting in comfort in no time. Locally owned and operated, they have proudly served our community for over 22 years. Contact Pure Air Consultants today at mypureairconsultants.com. Rheem and Pure Air Consultants to the rescue.
Have you been injured through no fault of your own? Do you know your rights? Don Evans does. Do you really believe that the insurance company would disclose all information to you? Don Evans will make sure that you are fully informed. It costs nothing to discuss your case. From car wrecks to malpractice, Don Evans will make you and your family whole again. Don Evans won't ever charge unless he collects for you. Call Don for a free, no-obligation consultation at 601-969-2006.
Hello, friends and neighbors. This is David Frederick. I'm here to tell you about the latest development here at Frederick Sales and Service in Brandon. In an effort to always bring you the very best brands, I am proud to announce that Frederick Sales and Service is Central Mississippi's newest dealer for Skag zero-turn mowers and products. We have deals on one of the industry's best brands of zero-turn mowers, Skag. You can buy now and pay later because 0% financing is also available at Frederick's. Come see our inventory. We're here serving you for over 3 decades in Brandon since 1993.
We all love the farm-to-table food concept, right? Well, at Burnt Corn Farm, they bring you locally grown flowers straight from the farm to the vase. With a wide selection of flowers and excellent service, Burnt Corn Farm will make your next party or shower a southern delight. Sign up for a monthly bouquet subscription, and their farm-fresh flowers will brighten your days all season long. You can also book your next family photo session in their wildflower field. That's Burnt Corn Farm on Facebook and Instagram.
Fraud is everywhere these days. The good news, there are simple steps that you can take to help stay safe. AARP Mississippi is hosting free fraud prevention events to help protect yourself, like free shred events that let you safely dispose of sensitive documents, and free fraud prevention workshops in person and online. Register for a free fraud prevention event at www.aarp.org/ms.
If you had an accident and had your vehicle repaired at the insurance company preferred shop, you might consider calling Clinton Body Shop to schedule a post-repair inspection. 5 of the last 6 cars we inspected were bought back by the insurer or repair shop due to unsafe repairs. Your family's safety and your investment are at risk. You may have a diminished value claim due to repairs. Did your insurance company mention that? In Clinton and in Richland, we work for you. We take pride in perfection.
Welcome back into the Lindsay Beckham Show, live in the WYAB studios. We are streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and X, and we are joined on phone by E. Brian Rose. That's how you can find him on social media. He actually lives in Ocean Springs. We're breaking down the Nolan Wells situation and his firsthand knowledge of what's happening over on the coast area in Ocean Springs and what he is seeing. Of course, we're talking about how Ben Crump is now involved. The family has retained Ben Crump, and it just seems like every time we see Crump come into a situation, we see more divisiveness, more divide, more racism, even if it's coming from the other side. So, Brian, over the weekend, were you seeing a lot of protesting in your area?
So there was a rally. There were 2 rallies that happened over the weekend, both on Saturday. Saturday morning, there was a unity walk across the Ocean Springs-Biloxi Bridge, and that was people of all colors showed up for that. Later that evening, there was what they called a protest. It was, all the flyers said it was a protest. I wasn't sure what the protest was, what they were protesting, but I did go to that. And there were about 75 locals there of black and white. A lot of people came with signs, justice for Nolan, answers for Nolan. And that is completely understandable. That is complete. We all want answers. We all want to know exactly what happened. But the majority of the people there were a group. And when I say majority, I mean hundreds of people organized, all wearing uniforms. There were a group called Israel United for Christ, and they were marching in military formation, doing military carols, military jodies. Then they started preaching, and their preaching lasted about 30 minutes. It mentioned Nolan maybe 2-3 times tops, I think. It was mainly about supremacy, not white supremacy, but their supremacy. And their message was very clear that, first of all, they don't believe that, they believe that all white people are criminals and nobody can get a fair shake in America because of that. They said that repeatedly. This is an organization that believes that white Jews are imposters. They call their synagogues of Satan. They believe that only their bloodline is supreme. And they even said, just because you're black doesn't mean you're one of us. So, I mean, it was such a message of hate.
That's what I was going to say. Sounds like they were full of hate.
People were seeking love and answers, and they got the exact opposite from this group. And I did some research on this group, and this group has been labeled and branded as an extreme hate organization by many watchdog groups and organizations. So the idea that they came here seeking justice for Nolan was just, they use that as a gateway to get in and spread their message of hate. It's no different than if the KKK were marching and, or any other hate group. It's just, it's sad that this tragedy is being taken advantage of by people from outside the community.
And I keep hearing that word, justice.
Everybody here just wants answers.
Right. And I keep hearing that word justice. And I think answers is a better word. Let's find out what happened. Of course, investigate it to the fullest, but to demand and scream for justice on who? Because we don't know what happened. From all accounts, it seems as though there was no foul play is what we're being told. And we don't have the autopsy. So who are you screaming for justice against? It's mind-boggling
That's
to me.
very true. And most people are taking a wait-and-see approach. If there was any foul play, then absolutely everybody wants justice. But the main thing everybody wants right now is to find out what happened to this boy. This was a native son. This was a football hero. This was a kid that was loved. He had no controversies surrounding him. The family was loved by the community. This was an upstanding family and a boy with a bright future. And it is sad and it is tragic. And I hate to see how people are taking advantage of this tragedy to spread their own narratives, whatever that may be.
I completely agree. And the latest that we're hearing, I guess, and Ben Crump has even posted this himself, is this photo of what looks like some sort of pool party. And they are saying that Nolan actually did make it back off of the island, and there was I guess some sort of controversy or a fight at this pool party. There's a picture that is circulating that they say was taken July 5th around 1 a.m. This is the first we're hearing of this. Now, Brian, when I look at this picture, there are at least 15 kids in it, and I'm wondering if this were the case, how has this not gotten out yet? Not everybody's keeping their mouth shut.
There are a number of people that are coming out saying that picture was posted to a folder of one of the friends named I think his name was Evan, posted to a folder of his labeled Summer 2026. And there are a lot of reports that actual pool party happened on June 27th is the date that I keep hearing. We have sent, GC Wire sent 2 emails so far to Ben Crump's team asking for any evidence that this pool party took place on June 5th at 1 a.m. We have not heard back from him. In fact, the post that he made actually said, these are unconfirmed reports. And some people think it's okay just to say, hey, here are your suspects, but it's unconfirmed. And that's not okay. It is not okay to do that. It wouldn't be okay for someone to do it to Ben Crump, and it's not okay for Ben Crump to do it to somebody else, especially a whole pool full of kids. There were 20 or so people in that pool in that picture.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just not fair to spread rumors like that, especially when you yourself admit that you have no confirmation that this is true.
Right. And by doing so, not only is it just not right, but you are placing a target on the lives of these very well could be, I mean, innocent until proven guilty, we'll say innocent, basically children. I mean, very young adults. I saw the post that was made by Judge Ashley Cole. And, she deactivated her Facebook. She's the mom of one of the boys that Nolan was with. And she posted, I guess she reactivated her Facebook, but she posted some of the threats that she's gotten in her inbox. And they were awful. I mean, very scary.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, her stepson was on the boat, and there were early rumors that came out that her and her husband were on the island, and that's just has been debunked. That never happened. Yet there's still a group of people that keep pushing that lie that Judge Cole and her husband were on the island. They were not on the island. There's nobody, any official authorities that are saying this, and because of this, she ended up, disabling her Facebook. There was too many threats coming in and too many accusations being made. And then when it got to the point where she felt she had to make a statement, she reactivated it, made that statement, and posted screenshots of some of the death threats that she was getting, not just for her, but saying that they were coming after her children as well. And that is just not okay.
No, and she was criticized for deactivating the Facebook. She's been criticized for reactivating the Facebook. She's been called a liar, that she didn't actually get these threats. And I think kind of the latest rumors that I saw circulating this morning, I really don't even want to speak them and breathe any life into them, but saying that somebody had the boat out in front of her house at 3 a.m. cleaning it. Now, I just can't imagine that all of that could have happened. There could have been a pool party and this big fight, and then they take his body back out to the island and they're cleaning the boat. There would have been more eyewitness accounts had this really happened, in my opinion.
Absolutely. And, another thing, anybody that's taken a boat to Horn Island or Ship Island or any of the barrier islands, it is salt water. If you own a boat, when you take it back, you wash the salt off of it. So for anybody to say that washing a boat after a trip to the island is somehow nefarious or suspect, that's actually standard protocol for a boat owner. And anybody who owns a boat or is ridden on a boat knows that when you get back, you rinse off the boat.
Right. And not only that, but they said the boat was taking on water. And so I'm sure if something had gone wrong mechanically with the boat, they were probably looking at it once they got it back.
Of course, they said the bilge pump was not working and it was taking on water, which is why they were leaving early that day. That's what was told to the sheriff's department. That's what the sheriff's department is reporting. Now, there are people that are going to believe that. There are people that are not going to believe that. But you can't say that's just not true unless you have proof of that. It's not fair to say that something is not true if you don't have proof.
Exactly. Well, we're up against another break. Do you want to hang on and do the last segment with me?
Absolutely.
Great. All right. Well, y'all stay with us. Again, this is just a very tragic situation, but even more tragic, the nature of the narrative that's being pushed and the divide that it's causing in the community and across the state, really across the country. This has made national news. Y'all stay with us here on the Lindsay Beckham Show, 103.9 WIB. We will be right back. Welcome back into the Lindsay Beckham Show. We are talking about this situation happening over in Ocean Springs concerning the death of Nolan Wells, and we are joined on the phone line by Brian Rose, who lives over in Ocean Springs. We've been breaking this situation down and kind of some of the rumors that are circulating. Are you there, Brian?
I am. Yes.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I think I forgot to turn the commercials on for the online during the commercial breaks. That may have been why you didn't hear anything. So in your community, like, what are you seeing, the hate and the division there, or are things kind of continuing as normal?
You know, when you go to the store and you talk to people of any color, you can have a friendly conversation about this. Everybody wants the same thing. We all feel terrible for this family. We all feel terrible about the death of Nolan. You get online and it's coming from outside of Mississippi. It's coming, the hate is coming from all over the country. And I'm starting to see it from all over the world, actually. And, you know, it's disturbing because this is kind of the first look America is having of Ocean Springs. And you know, this is a great town. This is a beautiful town. Like I said earlier, this is a melting pot. And, you know, my daughter grew up here. She's 22 now. She knows a lot of these kids involved. She went to school. She was a senior when Nolan was a freshman. She knows their brothers and sisters of all the families involved in this. And it's very disturbing to see this kind of negative attention and division being thrust upon our city that is just not a divisive place. So it's very disheartening.
That's one thing I said early on is I hate when these situations arise and then the narrative is pushed to, well, it's Mississippi. This is expected in Mississippi. And then just seeing the situation with baby Cohen over in Senatobia, or up in Senatobia, and now this situation with Nolan on the coast happened so close together, and it's almost from the very tip top of our state to the bottom. We have got the country screaming that Mississippi is a racist place to live and always has been and always will be, and you shouldn't let your Black kids be around white friends. And that to me is just absolutely heartbreaking because that is not what I see in my day-to-day life.
It is. It absolutely is. You know, I mean, we had get-togethers at our house, you know, all throughout my daughter's school years of all different colors. We had pool parties, you know, and sleepovers, proms, and it was just a melting pot. And now we're being portrayed as this city where things like that don't exist. And I can tell you, it does exist. Kids of all different colors are friends here. That is just the way that it is. No matter what these outsiders try to paint Ocean Springs as, it is not a divisive place. And it's very disheartening. But I can tell you one thing, that, you know, talking about this division and where it comes from, we can all agree, no matter what your stance is on this, no matter what your opinions, Ben Crump or any of these people are, we can all agree that when Ben Crump comes to town, two things happen. One, you usually start with one family that is in distress or grieving, and it turns into many families. That is just the Ben Crump effect. And the other thing that we can agree on is when Ben Crump comes to town, money follows him because he makes his living off of this type of division. Mississippi has a past. A lot of places have a past. Ocean Springs is not a divisive place, no matter what their narrative.
It really literally seems as though Ben Crump preys on these grieving families and takes advantage of their situation.
And when there's money to be made, I guess that's the goal there.
And to me, that's the biggest tragedy in all of this, you know, because like you're saying, the people that you see day to day in your community are not, it's not where this hate is coming from. It's coming from outside sources, almost as if they are shipping in outside agitators to stir up more hate.
That's exactly what we're seeing. And like I said, you go to the grocery store, you go, you know, to any of the local shops, and you can have civil conversations with people. You get online, and it is just divisive, toxic behavior coming from all sides, from mainly coming from people that aren't from here, aren't from Mississippi, from other states across the country and beyond. And it's very disheartening. You know, when you have a city that is, you know, known for something like this, 10 years from now, people will always think of Ocean Springs in the light that Ben Crump is trying to paint it as. But what we really should be doing right now is focusing on what happened to this young man, what happened to Nolan Wells. And if something nefarious happened, then there should be justice. If it was accidental, then we should focus on just remembering the life of an Ocean Springs native son that is gone too soon. And I believe that these people from other parts are stealing that from this family and from this community.
Yeah,
and it's a tragedy in itself.
If it was accidental, you know, the lives of these boys that were with him, their friends, his friends, their lives will never be the same. In fact, during the commercial break, I read an interview that one of the boys that was with him that day has given to ABC News, and you know, he's afraid to speak out because of the threats he's getting, and he's talking about how he's mourning. I think there's somebody else is calling in. Let's see. I think he wants to be able to mourn his.
And that is something that's being lost on so many people. These guys were close friends.
Right.
And they lost a brother.
Yeah.
And they now have gone into, you know, protecting their own little bubble rather than what they should be doing. And that's mourning the loss of a brother that they've known, that they played on the field with, they went to war with, that they grew up with.
Exactly.
And
I think, Brian,
we're trying to paint it as something other than that. But the fact is, these boys were all close friends for many years.
Right. I think we have somebody want to ask a question. Caller, are you there?
Hi, yes, I'm here.
Yeah. Okay. Derek, is that you?
Yes, it is.
Okay. You're on air with Brian and I.
Hey, I just wanted to say that, man, y'all hit the hammer around the nail when it comes to people not knowing this area. They go with what they've heard in the past and things like that. But I myself lived on the coast for many, many years, and everybody that I've talked to don't know nothing about boating. You know, oh, well, why do you have to wade in the water to get to the island? Why do you do it? It's like, oh, my God. I said, listen, have any of you ever even been on a boat? And almost always is going to be no, especially in salt water, no. Well, anytime you go to any barrier island, because I've lived there, I took my lady friend there for a vacation after she graduated, got her doctorate. And anytime you go to a barrier island or a sandbar, you don't pull all the way up on the sand. Everybody knows that. And conversely, you always wash the boat out. That's even in freshwater, you do that because your impeller more likely than sucked up sand, right? So I just wish people would stop with all these conspiracy theories and just let the investigation play out.
Yeah, I agree. And that's what Brian was saying earlier, is that you always come back and wash the boat off. That doesn't mean anything nefarious took place.
And to go along with Brian's point, the biggest thing the media has done is stereotype Mississippi so much that it hurts our tourism. Like case in point, when I took my lady friend down there, she'd never even heard of potato nut. Oh, I wasn't supposed to say a business name on there, was I?
That's okay. I didn't even hear what you said.
I said, well, Brian probably knows what I'm talking about. I had to take her to the famous potato nut when I was in Ocean Springs, and we had a good time. And even up here in the East Central Mississippi, I took her to Don's Falls, and people back in her home state, Louisiana, that's in Mississippi? Yeah, it is. So the speaker definitely hit the hammer on the nail with that one. People just flat out don't know anything about our state except negativity.
Yeah. Yeah. Very, very true. Brian, do you have a response to that?
I couldn't agree more. That is the narrative that some want to push. And, I think that the people of Mississippi, I've been here nearly 40 years in Mississippi. I came from the north, and I got to tell you, I grew up in Massachusetts, came here when I was a teenager. I didn't know what to expect when I got here because I only knew what I had heard. And I got here and I was blown away. I couldn't believe it's a beautiful place and beautiful people, and all of the stereotypes that I had heard as a kid just were not true. So I think over the last 40 years that I've been here, people have been really trying to change the narrative of Mississippi and show it as a family friendly place, especially here on the coast. We have 26 miles of sand beaches. We have a place, Ocean Springs, one of the most charming downtown locations you'll ever see in any state, anywhere in the country. Mm-hmm. And it's just such a beautiful place. You drive down this downtown area, and it is lined with oak trees that create a canopy over the roads. During Christmas time, it is like a winter wonderland down here without the snow. It's just a wonderful place to raise a family, no matter what color you are. And it's heartbreaking to see how it's being portrayed here. Absolutely. Right now. It really is. And especially during a time when everybody should be mourning the loss of no one else.
Right. Absolutely. I could not agree more. Great call, Derek. Brian, thank you so much for taking the time to call in today and do the show with me and kind of explain what's happening over in the Ocean Springs area from someone with boots on the ground who lives there and sees that community on a day-to-day basis. I really appreciate it. We got to take our last break and I got to come back long enough enough time to say goodbye, but I really appreciate you taking the time to call in today.
Thanks for having me, Lindsay. You're doing a great job.
Absolutely. Thank you. All right. Well, we'll talk to you soon, and we'll take this last commercial break, and we will be right back to wrap things up on this Monday afternoon, 103.9 WYAB. Afternoon, 103.9 WYAB.
All in America.
103.9 WYAB.
Hi, Kim Wade here. Hot weather requires us to run the AC nonstop. Pure Air Consultants can inspect your unit today to ensure your AC is operating at peak performance. Pure Air Consultants is your go-to Rheem partner that can get the job done and have you resting in comfort in no time. Locally owned and operated, they have proudly served our community for over 22 years. Contact Pure Air Consultants today at mypureairconsultants.com. Rheem and Pure Air Consultants to the rescue.
When it comes to protecting all the things that matter in your world, generations of folks in central Mississippi have trusted Allstate agent Mark Dwyron. Mark knows the right coverage with the right price, helps you feel secure and protected. For decades, Mark's been a trusted agent protecting you against mayhem that is unpredictable, and he's always just a moment away when you need him. Mark Dwyron. For auto, home, life, and more, you're in good hands with Allstate. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability.
As Christians, it's our calling to be faithful to Christ and obedient to the Great Commission. Our heart's desire and prayer to God is that through our efforts, many would receive and rest upon Christ alone as he is offered to them in the gospel. I'm David Strain, Senior Minister at First Presbyterian Church of Jackson, inviting you and your family to join us as we strive to fulfill that mission. We're located on North State Street in Jackson. Times of our services can be found at fpcjackson.org. You can also hear the good news about Jesus Christ each Sunday mornings at 9:30 on 103.9 WYAB.
Hey, Flora, the farm store in Flora, fresh from the farm right here. The farm store in Flora, organic, local, clear. Locally sourced meats and vegetables too. Fresh produce every day, picked just for you. The farm store in Flora, fresh from the farm right here. The farm store in Flora, come see what's fresh today.
If you want the best health care, where do you go? The Mayo Clinic. If you want the best care for your vehicle, where do you go? Mayo Auto Clinic in Raymond. Mayo Auto Clinic does foreign and domestic vehicles and diesel repair. Mayo Auto Clinic has ASE certified techs with over 25 years of experience. You can extend the life of your car or truck when you take it to Mayo Auto Clinic. For cost-effective repairs and maintenance, go to the best, Mayo Auto Clinic. Open weekdays at 7 a.m. Highway 18 in Raymond.
Remember when you had energy after work? When your mind was sharp, your confidence was high, and getting older didn't feel like giving up? That guy's still in there. Live Better Men's Health and Wellness helps men fight fatigue, low testosterone, brain fog, and low motivation with customized treatment plans built for real life. No waiting forever, no awkward lectures, just answers, support, and a plan. Living better starts now. Live Better Men's Health. Visit livebettermen.com today.
Welcome back in for the last minute or so of the Lindsay Beckham Show on this Monday afternoon. I am so grateful that I was able to be here in the studio today and to be able to discuss these very tragic but very pressing topics taking place across our state. This evening, there will be an event over at Cypress Point. The Rankin County Republican women will be having an event called Ladies, Liberty, and Libations. If you are free, get out and fellowship with your Republican women. I'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place, and I'll see you then. Bye.